Hello everyone, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. I'm going to show you my first picture. Could you imagine me behind bars for not saluting the flag, not celebrating Christmas, and not going to the army? Well, I'm not exaggerated about the Christmas, but every young Jehovah Witness I know, because when I was growing up being a Jehovah Witness, getting up to the age when you have to register so they can choose you to pick you to go to the Army, Navy, or wherever it is. But Jehovah's Witnesses was told that we do not serve our country. And so a bunch of people went to jail. Lucky I wasn't one of them. But a bunch of them way before me went to jail. And I'm going to play how bad in other countries did Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't agree the violence they did to Jehovah's Witnesses, but as now my eyes are open and seeing the real truth behind the organization, how dangerous they are, I feel pity for Jehovah's Witnesses not watching our videos and understanding how evil the government body is and how secret they have hidden their lies in their books, in which Jehovah's Witnesses seen them, but they just ignore what they see in with their eyes and can't comprehend the lies that they put in the books. So I'm going to play something and we'll go from there.
South Korea. Nearly 1,000 Jehovah's Witness men are currently imprisoned for their conscientious objection to war. In 2005, Sung Hyun-son, 21, served a 10-month sentence for refusing the draft. When he was released from jail, he was immediately drafted again. He refused and was sentenced to 2 additional years in prison. More than 12,000 witnesses have been jailed since 1960. Korea's Supreme Court, Constitutional Court and the National Human Rights Committee have recommended an alternative service system, but current Korean law makes no provision for conscientious objectors or for ministerial exemption from military service. 2 cases are on appeal with the UN Human Rights Commission. Eritrea. In 2006, the U.S. State Department reported that Eritrea singled out Jehovah's Witnesses for particularly harsh treatment. The government revoked their citizenship, denied them jobs, and expelled their children from school. Men were jailed for refusal to do military service. Officials have arrested entire Jehovah's Witness congregations, holding members in metal shipping containers. Conscientious objectors Paulo Ziasu, 35, Neji Teklamariam, 34, and Isaac Magas, 32, have spent more than 12 years in the remote Sawa prison camp. Tekel Tesfaye, a 72-year-old Eritrean-born Dutch citizen, is serving a 5-year prison sentence. All diplomatic efforts to win his release have failed. France. The 250,000 witnesses in France have been subject to official religious discrimination and economic persecution, which has spurred vandalism and harassment. The government claims that the witnesses are antisocial and that their religious stricture against blood transfusions makes them dangerous to society. Members of the French Parliament have characterized Jehovah's Witnesses as delinquents and criminals. The government also imposed a discriminatory 60% tax on donations made by Jehovah's Witnesses, retroactive for 4 years. In protest, witnesses submitted an application to the European Court of Human Rights and a supporting national petition of 874,130 signatures. The UN's Freedom of Religion of Belief Office has expressed concern about the French government's hardline position toward religious minorities. In 2003, the government seized the funds of the Jehovah's Witness branch in France in partial payment of the tax bill. Then it demanded a payment of 40 million euros in 2006, essentially confiscating their holdings. No other not-for-profit religious group has been similarly targeted. Sensational press coverage contributed to 71 cases of vandalism against Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls last year, as well as protests against the construction or rental of new places of worship. A Kingdom Hall in Villefranche-sur-Saône was burned and destroyed. Jehovah's Witnesses have appealed to the European Court of Human Rights. Turkey, Fidi Demirtas, 25, has received 9 prison sentences for being a conscientious objector to military service. Yunus Era Section F has been called up 24 times and prosecuted 21 times. Both men have filed applications with the European Court of Human Rights. They are among 14 witnesses who are subject to beatings, verbal abuse and repeated incarceration for their stand of conscience. Rwanda. Local officials are forcing Rwandan citizens to participate in armed night patrols following reports of cross-border rebel infiltrations. Jehovah's Witnesses are accused of being rebels for refusing to bear arms. Last year, 66 Jehovah's Witnesses were arrested. Some were severely beaten. Heightened tensions over the issue have resulted in expulsions of Jehovah's Witness children from school and the breakup of religious services. Singapore. 19 Jehovah's Witnesses are being held in the Singapore Armed Forces Detention Barracks. Even though the country offers non-military national service, the government withholds this option from religious conscientious objectors. Armenia. The U.S. State Department lists Jehovah's Witnesses as the 4th largest religious group with 8,750 adherents, and states that they have been the target of hostile sermons by some Armenian Apostolic Church clerics. Only the Apostolic Church has full recognition and its clerics warn non-traditional denominations against stealing souls. At last report, 48 Jehovah's Witness men were in prison for conscientious objection to military service. When Hagavatisayan appealed his 2-year sentence, it was increased to 2.5 years. A prosecutor told one conscientious objector, "People like you should be destroyed. Hitler was right when he tried to exterminate you." Applications for 4 Jehovah's Witness conscientious objector cases have been filed with the European Court of Human Rights. Turkmenistan. Police and national security officials frequently break up Jehovah's Witness worship services, impose heavy fines, and resort to verbal and physical abuse. The 6th Department of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which ostensibly fights organized crime and terrorism, has monitored and harassed Jehovah's Witnesses, pressured their employers to fire them, and confiscated passports. The government refuses to register the religion. Uzbekistan. The 1998 religion law provides for freedom of worship, but the reality is far different. Religious activity, including publishing, education, and assembly, is severely restricted. The U.S. State Department reports a decline in religious freedom in 2006, with Jehovah's Witnesses and other minority religions suffering harassment. They are then denied the right to build or rent places of worship. Greece. Despite being vindicated by the European Court of Human Rights, Jehovah's Witnesses are still harassed by local officials for distributing religious tracts. India. Jehovah's Witnesses have experienced dozens of mob actions and beatings. Police have refused to intervene and in some cases have manufactured charges against the witnesses and have released the assailants. After beating a witness man and woman with a fence post, a mob dragged the 2 injured witnesses to the police station and pressured the police to file a complaint against them and hold them without bail. Mexico. School officials suspended 5 teachers who are Jehovah's Witnesses, claiming that they would not convey the necessary patriotic fervor to their students because of their religion. Francisco Cruz refused to contribute to Catholic feast days. As a result, local officials confiscated his farmland and gave portions to settlers. Cruz also faces eviction from his home.
Okay, what's wrong with this article that I was looking at and was able to record? Jehovah's Witnesses, if you're watching this, what these people went through was not persecution. It is because of these men These men has put people in danger because people believe these guys or these idiots, or what some would call these monkeys. And I'm not talking about because someone's being black either. I'm talking about the group called themselves a governing body. It's monkeys. All they're after is people's money, property, and slaves. It has nothing to do with Christ or God or worshiping the true God and Christ. The reason I call these guys idiots is because they are not what they say they are. They're not a direct channel to God. They're a direct channel to Satan, the devil, which Jehovah's Witnesses don't recognize if they open their eyes and see the channel of their so-called to God, which is Satan the devil. Their wisdom and knowledge they give to Jehovah's Witnesses is from Satan the devil. There's so much hatred. I have a friend, her husband is a Jehovah's Witness. She comes home, open the door, and try to get in, put groceries in the house. He pushes the door and shut it and lock it again. And she has to pull her groceries down, unlock the door, and go in there, chew his ass out. He won't do nothing in the house. He won't even take a bottle of water upstairs for her or any type of work around the house. Because she realized this organization, there was something was wrong. She did her research and found out the truth behind these 7 men. And she tried to warn her husband that he's being deceived. He don't even hardly go to the congregations at all. Once in a blue moon, when the circuit assembly comes up, he makes an announcement to the assembly, but he doesn't go door to door. But he does give her hell from hell to live with her, and she's always in misery and pain because this guy is so indoctrinated from childhood of this religion, this cult. He can't even treat the woman that supports him. It's pretty sad. That's the reason why people are getting sick of this religion and walking out. The religion abused families, friends, destroyed children's lives, hope of better education, and the future prospect. If you go into another country, you could be thrown in jail for 5 or 10 years if you become a minister for them. That's your hope, of being thrown in jail for preaching the watchtower false doctrine. People, that's the reason why we do research, because we realized something was wrong with this religion. That's the reason we got out. Please, don't be a fool and fall for the watchtower governing body.